Cleveland Browns 2023 training camp is officially in the books. The Browns now traveling to Kansas City to face the Chiefs on Saturday in their preseason dress rehearsal. Your latest Locked On Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound, LGB, NELOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your host, Jeff Lloyd, guiding you through here, closing out a week, but we'll still be around on Saturday at some point to get you a post-game show as the Browns travel to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. And, of course, everybody join the everyday crowd by subscribing to the Locked On Browns YouTube channel. And, of course, Locked On Browns, it's always available. It's always free wherever you get your podcast. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store and sign up with promo code LOCKEDON, all caps, no space, to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. That is it. Browns training camp 2023 is in the books. It seems like it was a day or two ago. Sat down recording, talking about, the first action down to Greenbrier in West Virginia. And look, if you ever need, and I try to tell you guys all the time, that nothing goes faster than the NFL football season. And we're done. Training camp's over. We will get our final preseason game. We'll get the final roster cut down on Tuesday. And that is all eyes on the Cincinnati Bengals September 10th as the Cleveland Browns home opener. Your Cleveland Browns news of the day. Browns made a couple of moves. And it kind of tells you maybe the way the game is going to go Saturday. Quarterback-wise, the Browns released quarterback Kellen Mond. Spent the entire season with the Cleveland Browns last year, never dressed for a game. Finally got to see Kellen Mond play a little bit this year. That wasn't all bad, but you could see the way this quarterback room was shaping up, of course, led by Deshaun Watson. And we'll get to the rest of the quarterback room here with other news here in this segment. But Kellen Mond, had an opportunity. I think Kellen Mond is probably still worthy of a practice squad in the NFL. So we'll see the way it shakes out for Kellen here in the next, probably week or so, 10 days or so, the way it works out for Kellen Mond. But he was released before the finale in Kansas City. Defensive end Charles Wiley was also released. So obviously not a playing time. This is the thing, though. If the Browns are going to go 20 to 25 plays for their starters on Saturday, that most likely is going to get you to about the half. And so, if the Browns felt there was no way they were going to get these guys on the field, might as well get them jump started on maybe having an opportunity to start looking around, where their next opportunity could be in the league. So that is your big, Browns news of the day. They make those two moves. Josh Dobbs has been named quarterback 2 right now. I'm not surprised. I do think Josh Dobbs, in an emergency situation, if anything happened to Deshaun Watson, I do believe they would go to Josh Dobbs first. If it were a situation where they were talking about who was going to start a game, I still believe, and I will not back away from this, I would start Dorian Thompson-Robinson all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. I would start him in a game before Josh Dobbs. Dorian Thompson has just played a large amount of football over the last few years. Well, Josh Dobbs just hasn't. So, still the way I feel. We'll see the way it shakes out. And as always, when we talk about the backup quarterback, hopefully none of them ever take a snap. I don't want any of them to take a snap. I hope it's Deshaun Watson each and every single day. Within practice, actually, so now the Browns, this was weird this year because they took the, obviously the trip down to West Virginia to the Greenbrier. Fans, I know how much you guys all love the, preseason and the training camp practices. You guys only got 6 this year. The last 2 practices, unfortunately, had to be moved inside due to weather, which means no fans. So, rough for you guys. I know a lot of people, make family experiences out of this, mom, dad, take the kids. It's just not as big of an opportunity this year as the Browns change plans up a little bit. Hopefully next year, a little more opportunity for you all to get out there, and hopefully the weather, cooperates to get more people out there. Practice itself today was, I would say it was kind of light, but, there was definitely some momentum to it. AJ Green, Cedric Tillman had a couple of nice matchups. Each one of them, Cedric Tillman with a nice touchdown, AJ Green with an interception, AJ Green with a nice battling with Cedric Tillman for a PBU. So AJ Green, guy was dinged up about a week and a half ago, right in the ship here, and looks to be in line to probably make this roster as the team's 5th cornerback. Cade York, 6 of 6 today. Look, Cade York is going to do everything he can to get to the regular season as this team's starting kicker. None of us know. It's got to happen, man. He's got to make these kicks in pressure situations. He's got to make these kicks in games. That's what it all comes down to. I mean, it's great to be Mr. Practice, and it certainly is. It's great to be consistent. It's great to get your work in, but these things got to start translating into game situations for Cade York. And, whether it was Mason Crosby today basically telling the league, hey, give me a call. I'm around. There's other guys out there, of course. Robbie Gould is another one out there. These are names that could be had for the Cleveland Browns if they choose to go this route. But it looks like for now, Cade York is going to get the opportunity unless something drastically goes wrong. Saturday in Kansas City, Cade York will be the kicker for your Cleveland Browns, come week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals at home. Defensively, there was some fun stuff today. Zadarius Smith miraculously ended up with a pick 6. I'm sure he got a nice chuckle out of that. The energy from Zadarius Smith is crazy. He's, Myles Garrett is not like a robotic guy. There's a lot of fun to him. There's a lot of, joking around to him. But I don't think the Browns have had a player with a practice personality of Zadarius Smith in maybe my time covering this team. He is always having fun. He's always up tempo. This is a guy, it would kill him if they ever turned music off at practice because he's always finding a way to, have a good time, joke around, bust a couple moves with the, showing off the big man dance skills, as, I like to say. But Zadarius just a fun player. And this is where training camp differs from regular season practices. You get a little bit more deeper. The media is allowed to do a little bit more. They're allowed to give you a little bit more inside look, pull back the curtain, so to speak. And you kind of get to know players' personalities a little bit. Once it's limited as far as what we get from, regular season practices, it takes away from, that aspect of it. But it's, certainly nice to get to see some players in their element and the type of personalities that they have. Big Z is going to be a fun guy to have around this team. Certainly a great veteran to have around the younger guys. And as I always say, a lot of these guys can't just go to Myles Garrett and talk shop because you don't have the size. You don't have the speed. You don't have the athletic ability. You don't have the jumping ability. God did not bless you to be the, 0.0000001% best athlete in the world. Not everybody's playing with the same deck that Myles Garrett is. So I think there's a lot of lessons guys can learn sitting down, talking shop with Zadarius Smith, a guy who had to hone his craft, hone his technique, and work his butt off to become the player he is in the NFL. So, you see that in that type of personality, and it's really, really starting to, move around within the building. So it's going to be a fun unit. I cannot wait to see, the limited amount the Browns are going to play on Saturday, but I cannot wait to unleash this beast come September 10th when the regular season begins. I think this Browns defensive line is going to be a ton of fun, and I cannot wait to get there. We're going to continue on here. We're going to talk some offensive players that I am looking forward to here Saturday in Kansas City. Your latest Locked On Browns rolls on. Jeff Lloyd, appreciate everybody for being along for the ride. Harry's Razors. I got to be honest. And my wife, when we first got together, my wife could not stand me clean shaven. The reason she couldn't like it was because I looked like I was 12 years old. Now I'm a little more older. She prefer me clean shaven. We have our marital tussles on that. But if we've got an event, I got to go out. I got to suit up. By all means, we're shaving down. We're cleaning it up. And that is why you should use Harry's Razors. No matter why you shave, Harry's has you covered for the best shave of your life at a price you'll love. From their legendary high-quality razors to skin products like exfoliating face wash and hydrating lotion, Harry's gives you a premium shave without the premium price tag. Get better quality at a better price than other razors when you get Harry's delivered right to your door. We got to go to Sweet 16 a couple of months ago. So I just went with, I had the starter set. It was very, very smooth. And the gel, I'm not even going to lie about. It made the shave that much more smoother. When I shave, sometimes I get a lot of irritation. This was not the case with these Harry products. A smooth shave shouldn't be rough on your wallet. The starter set is a $13 value for just $3 at harrys.com/NFL. It includes a 5-blade German engineered razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover. Scheduled delivery for refills as low as $2, half what you pay for other blades. Harry's also has creams, washes, and lotions that will keep your skin healthy and hydrated. Blades made in their own factory in Germany that stay sharp. Guys who've tried it say their 8th shave is as sharp as their first. Sleek, ergonomic weighted handles that look great in your bathroom and give you precise control with each swipe. There's no reason not to try Harry's. Harry's has the highest customer satisfaction in the shaving industry, and they're still offering a no-risk trial. Don't like your shave? No worries. It's on them. Get your best shave ever this summer with Harry's razors and skincare products. Get a $13 starter set for just $3 at harrys.com/NFL. That's harrys.com/NFL for a $3 starter set. We continue on here, your latest Locked On Browns, your host, Jeff Lloyd. Appreciate you all who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. That everyday crowd just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I suggest you all join it by subscribing to the Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Of course, Locked On Browns, it's always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. With the word, and we'll see. I'm sure there's a player or two who's not going to play. My guess would be Nick Chubb's not going to play. My guess is Myles Garrett's not going to play. After that, I'm not sure, besides the injured guys, or, of course, the guys who have been out of practice ill. One note I didn't get to, Grant Delpit was back at practice today. What talk was he could possibly play on Saturday, so we'll see how that works out. So what looked like a little bit of scare worked out for the Browns, and certainly Grant Delpit in their favor. Starters playing 20-25 plays. Now, obviously, we could see, Deshaun Watson, you figure 20-25 plays. If it goes well, 2 to 3 drives, or maybe most of the first half, if not all of the first half. Getting to just see, in-game action Deshaun Watson with Amari Cooper, of course, with Donovan Peoples-Jones, Elijah Moore, these guys, and Elijah Moore and Deshaun Watson. All that I can think about is, that old song, let me tell you about my best friend. That's what these two seem like. These two just seem like they've got a really, really good chemistry going together. Personality really building and growing with these two gentlemen as they've spent a lot of time together in the offseason, and obviously, every day now for over a month in training camp. But I want to see this unit with David Njoku, whatever running back is on the field. But I want to see what this unit looks like, because I want to see what defenses have to do when they're lining up and players of the ilk of Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Elijah Moore are sitting there lined up with Deshaun Watson in the gun. This is really, really a special group the Browns have assembled here. It really should be a successful group. They should score a lot of points. They should get a lot of yards. They should spend a lot of time on the field controlling clock. This could be the potential is there. There's no question about what this unit can do. And Deshaun basically put it on himself yesterday when speaking to the media and talking about the faith that the coaches have in him and basically building this offense for him, and now basically saying it's your offense to go out there and get it done. So certainly pressure's on DW to go out there, get points, get yards, get wins, most importantly. The running backs, this is going to be really, really interesting because, I don't think any of us believe at this point that maybe Jerome Ford is going to be ready to go week 1. And the biggest thing I have is how much time is he actually going to get on the field. If it's 2 or 3 practices, Jerome Ford is not playing week 1. So that means automatically, who's running back number 2 upside behind Nick Chubb? Who is it? Is it Jordan Wilkins? He's going to get a lot of run on Saturday. Is it Demetric Felton? Kind of brought himself, basically back from the dead as far as, having a possibility of making this Browns 53-man roster. So Demetric Felton there sitting there with this opportunity in front of him, can return the ball a little bit, can do some receiver things a little bit, can run the ball a little bit, pass pro. No. Hassan Hall. I'd be actually all right if Hassan Hall doesn't have a great game, because I think the Browns view Hassan Hall as a perfect practice squad candidate. He is a guy that can give you some return ability, can receive a little bit out of the backfield, certainly, as a running back. But I think there's time needed for Hassan Hall to get a little bit more acclimated. I don't think he's really in play necessarily to be a part of this team week 1, week 2. But I think this is a player that the Browns maybe think might have a little bit of a future, and they would like to get a little more time with Hassan Hall. This will probably turn at some point into a John Kelly game as he, basically gets a chance to audition himself for a job somewhere else, because I don't believe John Kelly is, any shot at making this Browns final 53. And I think the Browns, if they are going to keep at least one running back on the practice squad, I think that spot is probably earmarked for the Browns and Hassan Hall. And the other thing is if none of these guys look good on Saturday, the Browns have a major, major decision to make. We know they've been active, brought in Keelan Hill yesterday for a workout. And if you remember, with Jordan Wilkins came in for a workout, played a preseason game, sign Jordan Wilkins afterwards. So, Keelan Hall could be sitting in Berea right now, could be sitting in a hotel room in Cleveland right now, saying my opportunity could come as soon as Sunday to join this team. So we'll see that way that works out. And of course, there's other names we brought up yesterday that the Browns could pursue. No, for the people who asked about Kareem Hunt. And I got 3.7 reasons why Kareem Hunt ain't coming back. And that was his yards per carry last year. That is why I don't want Kareem Hunt back. Nick Chubb ran for 5 yards per carry on a bunch more carries last year behind the same offensive line. But Kareem Hunt could only generate 3.7. So anybody asking about Kareem Hunt, that is why I'm out of the Kareem Hunt business. Jakeem Grant. Jakeem Grant, obviously, now all of a sudden, he is very, very similar to Demetri Felton, guys that we were not talking about 5 weeks ago as far as, possibility of making the final 53. Jakeem Grant, injuries to Anthony Schwartz, and we know Anthony's time where it was, and it probably wasn't working out here, but other guys brought in. But Jakeem Grant going to get an opportunity to participate in the run game. We'll see how much run he could possibly get as a wide receiver. Jakeem Grant, his last NFL game was January 2nd, 2022. Jakeem Grant has not played in an organized football game in 20 months. So yes, he's a veteran and obviously was around a long time. That's a long layoff from NFL action. It truly, truly is. So Jakeem Grant, is a player I certainly want to see play Saturday in Kansas City. I think he's going to have a roster spot here early if he produces. Browns will run with it. If not, they'll be in the market for another return guy somehow, some way. The Austin Watkins Jr. story, let's just keep this one going here. I want to see Watkins make this decision as impossibly hard as he can for the Cleveland Browns. This guy got in the door and is doing everything he can to make sure he doesn't have to go back out it. So for Watkins, it's really been a really good feel-good story here the last couple of weeks. Every time they call his number, he just seems to come up big. He's at a monster preseason at this point, and hopefully he gets a chance to put together another nice game for the Browns on Saturday. And if it's his story's over here in Cleveland, hopefully he did enough work that, basically this will be the end of a chapter, and another chapter can begin in one of the other 31 NFL cities. I want to see how this works out for DeJuan Jones and certainly Luke Whippler, because now these guys have gotten accustomed to a lot of playing time, and that's about to come to an end unless something drastically bad happens. Does DeJuan Jones maybe get a rep or two at left tackle? I'm still not sure if we're solidified, and some of these roles could change for the Browns. They could view things as, hey, James Hudson's our swing tackle for the first five games. Then maybe it could alter from there just because of this difficult schedule to begin the season. But interesting if DeJuan Jones even still has a shot maybe to get a couple snaps at left tackle and maybe get an opportunity to be the swing tackle here for 2023. Luke Whippler, just keeping it up, man. Stacking together. He's played some guard. He's played some center. He is going to be a long-term center in the NFL. Question is how long can Ethan Posick, continue the play that he had in 2022? And does he play himself monetarily maybe out of the Browns' plans in 24, 25? We'll see. But for these rookie offensive linemen, it's been a lot of good work to this point. I want to see that continue for these guys as, now it's basically going to come to, you're going to get beat on a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You're going to play some scout stuff. Your reps within, the team's scheme in practice are going to be limited. And of course, most likely there's not going to be very much playing time for either one of these guys. Although DeJuan Jones as a extra tight end in short yardage in goal line is something I would just be salivating to see sometime soon. We're going to switch it up here. A couple battles still on the defensive side of the ball here to be fought out Saturday in Kansas City. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. Thanks for being along for the ride. August is here, and you know what that means, the official start of fantasy football drafting month. Get championship ready for your home league by trying out Best Ball and Underdog Fantasy. All you do is one live snake draft. No waivers, no trades. Underdog sets your best lineup every week. Try it out with Underdog's Best Ball Mania Tournament. The largest fantasy football contest of all time is back and even bigger, with $15 million of total prizes up for grabs, including an absurd $3 million going to the winner. Last year, the winner drafted their team in July, so don't wait around. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store and sign up with promo code LOCKEDON to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code LOCKEDON. Underdog is the easiest place to play fantasy football and the best place for Best Ball. Best Ball Mania 4 is the largest fantasy football tournament ever. The winner of Best Ball Mania 3 drafted their team in July, What are you waiting for? You can also invite your fans to a private draft in order to bring in new users. Guys, we can do this. If anybody wants to, put it in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter. We can set something up. I would love to get a little bit more into it here with you guys as far as fantasy-wise. But, of course, Best Ball Mania, Underdog Fantasy. Segment 3. Sorry, dry mouth. Your latest Locked On Browns, your host, Jeff Lloyd. I appreciate you all for coming out here every day, making Locked On Browns your first listen. The everyday crowd just keeps growing. Get in, jump in the pool, kids, as the water is beautiful. And the best way to do that is by subscribing to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. And, of course, Locked On Browns is always available, always free, wherever you find your podcasts. Now, defensively, things that I am looking for Saturday as Browns travel to Kansas City in the preseason dress rehearsal, which means September 10th will be here before we know it. Shelby Harris, of course, and of course, Dalvin Tomlinson. They're going to be entrenched here as the defensive line, as your defensive tackles on the interior. But I'd like to see, some stepping up here. I really would, whether it's a Siaki Ika, whether it's Tristan Hill, who got his first opportunity last week. I thought Maurice Hurst, first game maybe wasn't so great. Last 2 games, I thought Maurice Hurst has been a little bit better version of himself. Jordan Elliott, still waiting. But somebody else come up and sees an opportunity here. I think there'll be an opportunity for Ika to get playing time just, due to the girth. And I think the Browns know what his role is, and he brings something size-wise that, not many other people, well, not on the Browns, not many other people on this earth bring the type of size that Siaki Ika has. But I would like to see somebody here step up. And this could be the advantage of now playing with better talent around you. You get out there and concerns start going to Zadarius Smith, Ogo Benaya, Okoronkwo. Now, all of a sudden, you got a guy like Maurice Hurst, who was a prize prospect coming out of Michigan, and you're going to give him one-on-ones, which he's most likely capable of winning. So, there's opportunities here, but I do want to see some of these defensive tackles not named Shelby Harris or, of course, Dalvin Tomlinson. I want to see some of these guys step up, make some plays, and I would like to see the Browns keep the Kansas City Chiefs to a low yards per carry average. That's something they've been pretty good with thus far, but I want to see if it translates when the starters start to play more on Saturday. I think, I did my final 53. I kept 6 linebackers. I don't know if the Browns are going to keep 6. If they only keep 5, you basically got a battle with Diabate, with Jordan Kunaszky, and with Matt Adams, who was brought over here and, kind of was a guy, came from Chicago, but obviously had previous experience with Bubba Ventrone in Indianapolis. So where does it come down to? The Browns are only keeping 5. It's one of these guys. I have him keeping 6 just because I think Diabate could be a long-term player in this league, and I'm not going to roll the dice of letting him out the door and letting a team, that's going to be bad this year, maybe the Arizona Cardinals, just scoop up a player and all of a sudden just find a starter in late August because the Browns didn't have the room to keep a player. Look, I'll keep him. If it doesn't work out, well, can I move on from week 2 or week 3? Yeah. But, a player who's trending as well as he is right now, similar to Watkins, I want to see it out for a couple more weeks. I think, they've done that opportunity, and we're talking about essentially 52nd, 53rd guys on the roster. So those guys are always in play to get cut anyway. So if I'm the Browns, I want to continue that dalliance with both players for the time being. DeAnthony Bell versus Ronnie Hickman. I believe this one's been over for a while. DeAnthony Bell, a little bit more sound tackler, a little bit better special teamer, which he should be because he's 5 years older than Ronnie Hickman. But Ronnie Hickman obviously showed ball skills. This is a team that has always historically had issues creating turnovers. So if I can find a guy that can get 3 interceptions in 2 games, I don't know if I can move on from that because this is not something the Browns normally do. So I think there's still a little bit of a battle there. For me, it's not. I'm going to take Hickman, even though, I know he would need more work on special teams. But like I said yesterday, he could get 8 to 10 practices where, it becomes more of a focal point, where he becomes more of a guy who can, does more special team work. So I'm okay with that. And, it could happen. And we'll see the way it plays out. Plus, we're not totally sure how all the return game is going to work here in 2023. Obviously, with kicking, it's a little bit different. Cade York has a monster leg anyway, so a lot of his balls ends up in touchbacks. Anyway, there's just so many factors to it. Ika and McGuire, I think for Ika, we've seen some nice moments. I don't think he really got a ton of playing time this summer. And I kind of wish there would have been more for Siaki Ika, as, I'm really excited as to what this guy can be. And when you get him out there, and he's out there with Myles Garrett, he's out there with Tomlinson, he's out there with Zadarius Smith, all of a sudden he's going to be the guy nobody really focusing on. And, big boy can crash hard. He can shoot a gap. So, I'm excited for that. Isaiah McGuire, he's probably going to be this team's fourth defensive end week 1. Alex Wright is back walking around, but, he's nowhere near a practice field, which means there's a really, really good chance he's not playing September 10th like we all thought. Who even knows if he's back on the practice field by, September 10th. So, for Isaiah McGuire, there's going to be an opportunity, and I'd like to see that translate, to some wins on the field, get this kid feeling confident, because there will be reps for Isaiah McGuire. Week 1 against Cincinnati Bengals. It might be 10, it might be 12, but there's going to be some snap reps for Isaiah McGuire in that game. And I would like to see the young man be as ready as possible to go in that one. So obviously we talked to Brown news of the day. Browns made a couple of cuts. Josh Dobbs moved on from. Charles Wiley moved on from. Coach Stefanski has put Josh Dobbs in as quarterback number 2, which I do believe this is going to be the case, maybe at least through the first 5 games. Again, who cares if we don't want to see any of these backup quarterbacks technically anyway. But, Josh Dobbs, you're number 2 as of now. Offensively, the running back position, of course, Jakeem Grant, first action in 20 months. Want to see this Browns offense, with 20 to 25 plays. I want to see double-digit points. I want to see them score double-digit points. I think that would be the expectation. Defensively, obviously, the last couple of battles here, some guys stand up on the defensive tackle room, not named Tomlinson or Harris. The linebackers, hey, here's your shot. You want to go, you go get it. And Bell, Hickman, and of course, the last 2 rookies, of course, Ika and of course McGuire, getting their feet wet, their last taste before what becomes regular season action September 10th. Like I said, you'll be able to catch me some point on Saturday. I'll get you guys an episode out doing a Kansas City Chiefs postgame show. Browns in Kansas City Saturday afternoon to face the Chiefs. So it should be a good one as the Browns close out the 2023 preseason schedule. Training camp closed today. After that, it is open for business, and it is all about September 10th against the Cincinnati Bengals. I am Jeff Lloyd, your host here at Locked On Browns. Make sure you're following at Jeff_LJ_Lloyd. As always, this is now my 7th season with you all, looking for hopefully the best of times for your Cleveland Browns. I think we all feel really, really good, but until September 10th at about 4 o'clock, we're not sure how good we're just going to feel. Appreciate you all for making Locked On Browns your first listen every day. Join the everyday crowd. Subscribe to the Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things dog pound. LGB on ELOB. Let's go Browns.